So I was talking with a prospective client the other day who is selling a course for $197 in the health space, and it just wasn't selling. So she asked me, well, what should I do about this? So let me tell you what I told her. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri Elkaim here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals get clients and scale their health businesses online without the grind. And this is a very common thing I see where, health practitioner, health coach, etc. And, they have a course for a couple $100 and it's sitting on their website or on a landing page and no one's buying it. And I want to talk about this because you have to understand how challenging it is to make that work. And I think what would make the most sense here is if I actually draw this out. And I may have shared this in some other form at some point in the past, but I figured, let me share this again because I do think it's an important lesson if you do not want to waste your time, your life, etc. Because there are better things to do with your business than waste time trying to sell something for a couple $100 that no one wants. Fair enough? So again, I don't want that to happen to you. You have amazing expertise that can help a lot of people. And you have to understand that, selling anything online is more challenging than in person. And the reason for that is because of this thing called trust. People mostly don't trust anyone online. And if they do, it's a miracle, right? And it takes time to build that trust. You might be watching this and you're like, who's this bald guy? I'm listening to some dude about whatever. It's the way it goes, right? So anyways, let me show you what I'm talking about here. And I'll just put my lovely picture up here. So let's say that you want to your goal is to make 20K per month with what you're doing online. Okay. So if you got a clinic, whatever, but like online virtual practice, 20K a month. And you have, if we look at how we're going to do that, before you speak to me, obviously, because I'm going to tell you exactly what to do, but you're thinking, okay, well, I've got a course for $200 and it's going to help people with a specific issue. Hopefully it's not a general course. It's got to be a specific issue. Okay. So how many $200 courses do you need to sell on a monthly basis to hit 20K? So in order to make that happen, you would need 100 sales customers per month. Okay. It's not out of the ordinary, right? Maybe it can be done if you're doing a launch, sure. But here's the thing. Let me ask you this, is how many followers do you have on social media? If it isn't in the hundreds of thousands, I promise you, this is not going to happen. It's not sustainable. You're not going to be getting hundreds of customers even paying you $5 on a monthly basis unless you have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, as an example. And let me just break this down for you, okay? So we know that the average engagement on Instagram is a whopping 1%. So if you have 100,000 IG followers and you post something in your feed, that means that 1,000 of them see, comment, etc. Okay? Now, what's the likelihood that of 1,000 people, let's say you put up a promotion like, hey guys, new course, $200. What's the likelihood that of 1,000 people, you're going to have any more than a handful to buy a $200 course? Now, these have to be raving fans because they're going to a sales page. There's no conversation with you. That copy has to be phenomenal. The offer has to be compelling. What's the likelihood that from 1,000 people, you're going to get 100 sales? It's not going to happen. Trust me. I've been in this for 17 years. It doesn't happen. At best, you're going to see a 1% conversion rate. Okay. So even if all 1,000 people on this post clicked the link, which by the way is not clickable on Instagram, which is also another barrier, but they somehow went to your bio, clicked the link, and they went to the page. 1% of 1,000 is still 10 people. Okay. So we're not even at 100. And then you might say, okay, Yuri, well, what if I posted this every day of the week? Well, you're probably going to piss some people off because no one likes being promoted to, right? Give in public, sell in private. That's my philosophy. So That's on Instagram. And when I say Instagram, I mean Facebook organic as well. It's about the same. What about email? So let's say on email, let's say you have an email list of 10,000 people. Okay. And let's just say an average open rate of, I'll be generous here. I'll be very generous. We're going to say 20% open rate, but we also know that because of iOS 14.5, we can't trust open rates. So that's 2,000 people who've opened the email, and let's say a 10% click-through rate, which equals 200 people click the link in the email, and then they go to the page, and here's the buy now button. Of 200 people, do you think 100 people are going to buy? No way. I have never seen that in my entire life. And I've built multiple seven-figure companies, okay? At best, even with the warmest traffic, I'm talking about people who are like your neighbors, you're going to see a 5% conversion ratio. So that means on 200 people, at best, you're going to have 10 people who buy. 10 yeses. So I'm breaking this math down for you because you have to understand, if you want to make 100 sales per month to hit 20K a month consistently, you have to ask yourself one question. Where's the traffic coming from? Because the traffic is not coming from organic social unless you have a massive following. You can see the numbers here. It's not coming from your email list unless you have a massive email list with good engagement, i.e. open rates and click-through rates, which most people don't have just because they're not consistent with their emails, right? So what else are we going to do? All right, well, let's look at Facebook ads. You know, you talk about Facebook ads all the time. Well, this could work on Facebook. All right, let's look at some real examples. So you want to make $20,000 a month. You need 100 sales. And what you also need to realize is that in order, again, assuming, I'm just going to delete this for a second. The assumption here is a 1% conversion rate. 1% of people that click on your Facebook ad that go to your sales page, we're not even talking about opting in, we're going right to the sale here. I know it's not advised, but let's just look at what this looks like. What's 1%? You would need, in this case, 10,000 people. 10,000 visits per month for 100 people to buy. Okay, that's being generous. I'm serious. 1% is being generous on cold traffic, but let's just play with it. Okay, so we go to Facebook ads. Facebook ads, we need 10,000 visits per month. Let's say average cost per click is $1. Okay, so CPC equals $1. Therefore, you're spending $10,000. If that makes sense. Is my math right? I'm just going to double check something there. I just need to double check something on my math before I keep going here. And if I am right or wrong, let me know. But I do believe the math is right. Yeah, okay, so it's 10,000. So we need 10,000 visits. You're paying $10,000. Yes. For some reason, these numbers still don't seem to be making sense. I don't even know. Whatever. Okay, so we need 10,000 visits. Cost per click is 10,000. And remember, this is the assumption. The assumption here is that 1% of these people who are going to visit are going to buy. So we're saying of 10,000 visitors, we think we can convert 1% of them to buy a $200 thing, which in this case, to be honest, now that I'm looking at the numbers, is actually not that bad because you're making a 2-to-1 return on ad spend, because the theory here is that this is going to lead to 100 sales times 200, which is going to equal $20,000 minus 10,000 spend. So you're 10,000 in the clear. So as I'm doing this, I'm kind of getting caught in my own web of lies here, because the reality is that this is not what's going to happen. And again, like, these are all very generous numbers. The 1% conversion rate here, I'm like, listen, I've launched many products, many different price points in my previous business in the health and fitness space. And even with the best copy, it's like maybe 1%. And that's very, very generous. And it's very hard to make Facebook ad cold traffic to a $200 front end offer work. So you have to be amazing to get 1%. So if this were 0.5%, which is even, more realistic, you're looking at maybe breaking even. Okay. So if it was 0.5%, then your cost per click at $1, you need 10,000, you need 20,000 visits, whatever. Okay. So all this to say that it's just so much harder to make this type of model work. You need a tremendous amount of traffic. You have to be the world's best copywriter. You have to have a compelling offer with a no-brainer guarantee. And you have to get people who have never heard of you for the most part to take out their credit card, hit the buy now button on a checkout page or a sales page, and then buy. And I have like very, very seldomly, unless you are like a top level marketer, have I seen that to work. And I'll tell I'm friends with some very successful people, 7, 8, 9-figure businesses. No one's selling $200 on the front end. I'll tell you what they are selling. Get started for free or $10 with a massive upsell flow. So there's a reason no one sells $200 on the front end from a sales page is because it's friggin' hard to make it work. Now, here's my suggestion to this individual is instead of selling something for $197, why don't you put a 0 behind it and get on the phone with people? Because if it's a course, that's your coaching program, right? Why have people go through a course that 90% of people statistically are not even going to finish? And if you're a health professional, you want to transform lives. Whose life is being transformed by not completing the course? No one. So if you just think of like why you're in business, why you exist, to help people improve their health. If they don't finish the very course they purchased, they are not going to improve their health. My mom is a perfect example of this, right? She's a typical, I know this, I know that, but does nothing. So recently she purchased a $300 course online. She was raving about it from this local nutritionist. And I'm thinking to myself, here we go again, right? The less you pay, the less you pay attention. The more you pay, the more you pay attention. So she's raving about it and it's like the world's best thing, And then a couple days later, she's back to the way things were before. And that's because she was left to her own devices, which are the very reason she doesn't have the results that she wants. And she spent $300, and I think that's a waste. So let me ask you this. What's more expensive, $3,000 or $300? The answer is the one that doesn't work, right? And you're not transforming people's lives for $300. Even if you have one session with them for $300, which is maybe pricey, no one's life has been transformed by one session or a do-it-yourself course for $300. Add a 0 behind it, turn it into a coaching program, get people out of their comfort zone, get them to really think about, oh shit, now I've got to actually change. Okay, I'm going to do this. All of a sudden, people show up differently. And that's where true transformation happens. So my suggestion to this individual was, instead of selling this course for $197 and going through this whole charade of what I just walked you through, and no one has this kind of following for the most part, is add a 0. So let's call it $2,000 instead of $200. Get on the phone with people, right, as they come through your marketing, because no one's going to a sales page and buying a $2,000 product. We know that. So get on the phone with them, have a conversation with them, build trust, show them that you're the best option. And ideally, they should be getting on the phone with you already pre-sold. And we do that through a perfect client pipeline. I'll save that for another day. If you haven't seen my other videos, watch other videos on the YouTube channel. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I'll tell you this. Let me ask you this. What do you think is more probable? You have 100 conversations on the phone with people. How many? Okay, so more or less ideal prospects. You have 100 conversations with them. And let's just say you've got a $3,000 program or $2,000 program in this case. What is the likelihood that every single one of them says no to working with you, or you say no to working with them? What's the likelihood of that happening? I would say it's pretty close to 0. Even if you're the worst in terms of sales ability, not that you have to be pushy, but just having a conversation, the probability that 0 out of 100 conversations you have result in no sales is very low, okay? Very low. You don't even have to be that eloquent or that trained with quote unquote salesmanship. But if you have 100 conversations, could it be possible that you enroll 5 people, 10 people, right, at $2,000 each? That's $10,000, $20,000 respectively. The answer is yes. Now, If those same 100 people went to a sales page and saw the products for $200, not even $2,000, for $200, I would be willing to bet a lot of money that no more than one of them would take out their credit card and click the buy now button. And this goes to why I think it's so important to understand that conversions come from conversations. And if you're trying to sell things on the cheap, because you want to live the laptop lifestyle or have passive income, here's a rude awakening. In your business, there is no passive income. Now, you can make a lot of money in your business and then reinvest that money or that profit in other vehicles that are more passive. But in your active business, you're not chilling and money's rolling in. You're working. It may not directly be related to the sale of something, but passive income is a lie we've all been sold. It's ridiculous, okay? It doesn't work. It doesn't happen. Even if you've got the best systems in place. Listen, I can work 5 hours a week in my business. I work like a madman because I love it. Does that mean I don't have passive income? No, it means I have a lot of passive income. I don't do any of my enrollment calls. That's pretty passive. But I did my enrollment calls for a long time and I train our team, etc., so they can do them. So, that's good enough for me. And the thing you have to realize is, like, for every decision you make, there's another side of the coin which you're either avoiding or not willing to compromise on. So if you're not willing to, like, you're like, hey, I'm not doing sales calls. Great. You're not selling anything for more than a few $100s. You have to understand that. And by the way, to sell something for $100 or even $200, I'm not even talking about more than that. You have to become friggin' amazing with your copy and your offer. Have fun with that, okay? I've been down both rabbit holes, okay? I've built 7-figure businesses in both spaces. And I'll tell you, it's a lot easier to sell something for several $1,000s over the phone than it is to sell an ebook for $10 to a sales page. Mark my words on that. And if you don't believe me, please spend the next couple months trying to crack that code and then let me know how you feel, okay? So anyways, hopefully this makes sense. If it does, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit subscribe, watch my other videos. They will make a massive difference in your health business. And by the way, guys, they're all for free. I could care less if you work with us. If you want to, that's great. If not, you'll get tremendous value from the stuff I post on YouTube. Thank you for watching. I hope this makes sense. Yuri Elkaim signing off. I'll see you in the next video.